And that's Sasha.
And we're live.
We are live.
On Adobe Radio.
Yeah.
We consistently sound great. We're live on Adobe Radio. Go find us everywhere. We're trying to be more video oriented. So you can go to our YouTube. And our Instagram is still a thing. I don't know. I guess Twitter is X now. So, I mean, we're still there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm not sure like if the terminology is going to change. I think like probably Elon Musk was like, saw all the attention Threads was getting. And also Threads has kind of died down too. Like everybody's like, yeah, Threads is so great. And now like nobody's posting. So I don't know. I don't know what's what. I mean, I guess like
20 billion people signed up and then lost interest.
Yeah. And then we're like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe people are just like, let's go touch grass. But
it is summertime.
Yeah. But podcasts are still very much a thing. And we appreciate that you have chosen the Cool Nerd Weed Show on this warm summer's night. Because it is warm.
Yes, it is.
Here in LA. But it's cold in Australia. We are... Okay, so what fun stuff should we talk about? Oh, yeah, so if you find us on YouTube, please do. Also, find us on socials. Hit us up. Find a way to talk to us. We're pretty fun. And if you're in LA, I don't know, you know who we are. And we love you, Adobe Radio. Look out with your eyeballs for our video coming out this week. Hopefully. I don't want to put any pressure on you. Of our new studio. Of us in the new studio. The new Adobe Radio studio. Sorry, I forgot the rest of the sentence.
It's coming soon. I promise you.
No, yeah, take your time. I don't want to put any pressure on you. It's a lot. It's a lot of work. Because the new Adobe Radio Studio is decked out. Man, it is really something. So, you take your time. But the, our fans are waiting.
I know. I've been slacking.
No, you haven't. You have not. You haven't had a computer.
That's right. I haven't had the tools, but now that I have the tools, we are back. We're back in the game. We don't skip a beat. We had a great time at the Adobe Radio Studios, and you will see evidence of that coming up soon, and more of that with guests and stuff. We have all sorts of people who are trying to line up before the end of the year, and I make the great trek back east. Because it's the end of the year. I don't goddamn care. It's August. The year's over. That's it. You're going back home, and then I move in to work.
And then you move in and you Jack Torrance the LA, and you hang out, and I'm back home. We do the show. We don't stop doing the show.
No.
All right. Well, let's get to the show then.
Extra, extra, extra free gram. Cannabis headlines. Everyone, grab a paper and read it. Don't smoke the paper, just read it. The Cool Nerd Weed Show on Adobe Radio.
That's solid advice. I was out of weed this week. Did you know that?
I know that was I was shocked.
I know. It was real.
You were out of fire.
Okay, yes. Did I have like shake from 420? Yes. Did I have, apparently I had a whole ass joint up here that I didn't even know about, that I feel like my husband put in, because we use a candle as an ashtray, which I don't really recommend, but it was just in here, and you do it too. Don't even pretend like you fucking don't. I don't see your face.
I don't know what's going on
here. Okay, it's okay.
Here.
We weren't even gonna.
Yeah, we weren't gonna do it anyway.
Yeah,
but I got your face.
Okay, well, just put me on then. just put me on the YouTube. The next week, tune in for just me. I'm the Gwen Stefani of the Cool Nerd Weed Show.
Oh my God.
That's never. Don't you goddamn dare ever play that. This is getting edited out. I would never.
Does that mean I'm?
Yeah. I mean, take your pick. You know better than me. That was a deep niche, no doubt joke. And I hope you got it. So we're moving on. We played the extra thing so long ago. And we're talking about... New York. Okay, so New York is going to go down a long and winding road today. we have like a lot of stuff to go through with them. We've been pretty annoyed with the way New York is being with weed, but we also are trying to give New York some grace. And when good things happen, like they got some equity things happening. Okay, I think you might have to take.
All right. Yes, New York finally approved new retail licenses, and they made a provision to allow cannabis farmers markets. So, New York's finally making progress.
Hey. It was like the devil came into me and didn't want me to say any good news about New York. I really do. I'm rooting for New York. And this is cool because they can't get any licenses out there. It seems like they've gotten like 13.
Yeah, there's like for the whole state. The whole state.
Yeah. So this will help get some of that cannabis that's been being grown at least sold. And it won't be, on the corner, well, I guess it will be on a corner, but it'll be in a more organized way, and it'll be weed that is legal instead of from California. Right?
Yeah.
So that's
all
cool.
Locally grown because there's cultivators in New York right now, both indoor and out. They're growing as they were legally allowed to, and there's not enough places to actually sell. So, in counties and municipalities that will allow a farmer's market to come together, somebody has to have a on the property has to have like a retail license. You can bring together, literally farm to table. You can bring farmers all together in one place.
We have that here. Do we?
I'll get to that because we did at one point.
Yeah.
Basically, you're kind of like legalizing the sessions, but it's more of a farmer's market vibe.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So there's only, so they've issued a lot of licenses, but there's only 20 retailers in all of New York right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
The most recent dispensaries have opened up in Buffalo, of all places.
Oh yeah, your alma mater. It's not alma mater. It's hometown.
Hometown hero
hometown
makes it
USA.
big.
Yeah, hometown. Yeah, that's you.
So this is great for New York. We kind of experienced it here in LA briefly.
Okay.
Briefly. I remember it was under Prop 215. There were medical collectives were allowed to get together. So this was I think this was about maybe 2013, 14 ish.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess I can't. I don't really. I was a baby in weed back then, but I don't remember. So what, they used to get together?
Well, we were invited. We heard this thing was happening, and it was in a warehouse in one of the collectives in just right over in East LA, like right over the 6th Street Bridge somewhere. Okay, so they invited a lot of growers came through. And they set up this whole, it was hot as hell. It was in this like warehouse. You had to go, the line was super long. Everybody was still medical patients then. So we all signed up for this collective. There were hundreds of people there. And then you were allowed to walk in and shop just freely. Like you were going to a sesh back in the day.
Okay. So you smoke and everything?
You could do whatever you wanted in there. Once you got in, you could smoke in there. You could, and you could buy.
Interesting.
And, it was pretty civilized, but it got shut down like really quickly.
Why?
I don't know exactly.
Maybe there was
exactly
happening there.
Well, it seemed all pretty civilized. It was supposed to go through like the weekend, but it only made it one day. And the poor person, the person that set it up was like, in the news, like really promoting it. And, soon after, like basically got shut down. And then suddenly she disappeared and said she was just a spokesperson, which, got railroaded. And the whole idea, the concept is great. Bring the consumers directly to the farmers and cultivators.
Right. Well, I like this. It's since this is, I guess, sanctioned by, the state. It won't be a shit show. Well, not a shit show, but maybe it won't be. Yeah, it could last because I get worried that this is like only until they get more, dispensaries open, and then they'll like pull it away. But hopefully not. Hopefully it's like something.
Well, if it's working and people like it, then they could probably only have the option to go to the farmers market to buy direct.
That would be great. I would love to go to a cannabis farmers market in New York. I think that'd be super rad. Yeah. So cannabis growers showcases is what to look for. So I guess that looks like it would be the initiative is running through January 1st. I guess that's when you can try to get your licenses, right?
Yes. You have to be 21 to get in. And then for each event, there has to be at least three different cultivators there.
Yeah.
Which is good. Some friendly competition.
Well, that's cool. I mean, that's really rad. If you're a farmer in New York, it's probably been stressful because you have had a lot of product and not a lot of places to give it or sell it. I'm assuming it's been stressful. I have to assume as a grower in New York, it's been like difficult because you have nowhere to go. So yeah, this is great news. I'm trying to stretch it out so we have so we're not mostly bad news on the show, but this is the only good thing that we found.
This is the only good news.
I mean, there's some stuff in Minnesota that I guess is happening. They're allowing for public consumption in Minnesota. I saw it depends on where you are in Minnesota, but yeah, some places are allowing it. I'm not quite sure if that means you could have smoked tobacco outside too, but it does seem interesting to me that people are allowing that in Minnesota, and especially because we're going to be talking about some new restrictions on weed in places that were formerly not that.
It's cold in Minnesota. You're going to want to smoke. You're going to need to be able to smoke if you can smoke outdoors.
Yeah, I mean,
you're going to need a place to consume.
Yeah,
you don't want to be outdoors in the winter smoking in Minnesota.
But you can be if you want to be.
Well, sure.
But that's a good option, I think.
To have
I think it's
a consumption lounge.
Well, wherever. No, they're saying you could smoke in parks.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Hold on, I'll find it. Well, okay, so this relates to our next thing that we're going to talk about. Basically, we're just talking about where you can consume. It's it's stressful, it's a stressful thing because it's legal in so many places, and there's some places that you go where California where yeah, it's pretty lax. You can just smoke as you're taking a stroll, but it's very clear that you can't smoke in a park or a beach usually. I mean, you can, but but you'll get in trouble if you smoke on a beach during the daytime. I've seen people get rolled up.
Yeah, you can't smoke cigarettes on the beach in California.
Exactly. Right. So it
least in
adheres
LA.
to that rule of the. Did you find it?
Minnesota cities consider ban on smoking marijuana on sidewalks in parks as drug nears legalization. Now, whenever they call it a drug, this always comes from Fox News.
Look, the Star Tribune. I'm going to send it to you right now. You can soon smoke marijuana in public outdoor spaces, but some cities are mulling bans. So there are some places. Oh man, it's a paywall.
So Minnesotans next month, recreational cannabis will be legal.
Yes.
For you. This is good news. Where you can smoke it, it's a whole nother issue.
Right. So yeah, look it up. But some places you can smoke it. And that's the thing. That's kind of like, you can't smoke it on the sidewalk, but like maybe you can smoke it in a smoking area of a building or something. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess private property, private membership clubs.
Yeah, that's the vibe it's kind of giving me. So like maybe not like a public park, but maybe like a smoking area of a venue or something. I don't know what they mean, but I just saw that because I was trying to find good news, but it didn't really work out.
Well, right now you can smoke wherever you can smoke a cigarette in Minnesota.
So that's pretty cool.
But the powers that be are probably racing to take that liberty away from you. Yeah,
so you might as well enjoy it. We are going to talk about that coming up in 1 second. We're going to take a break, and we'll try not to be too cranky about anything.
The nerds will be right back. It's never too late to join the sesh.
Pass that here.
We salute you, the United States of cannabis, under all 50 strains, one pre-roll, under bong. The Cool Nerd Weed Show on idobi Radio.
I just love that Fish joins us every show.
Me too.
I love it all. I love those drops, and I just like, it's like nice. It's like he's in our pockets. We're the Cool Nerd Weed Show. We're back.
And we're back.
Before we talk about the United States of cannabis, though, this does relate to the United States. We are in the midst, is it midst or midst, of a strike here in the world. Everybody's fucking striking.
Yeah, everybody.
But namely, because we live in Hollywood, so this is very personal. The WGA and SAG-AFTRA are striking. And we do appreciate if you hold the line and don't be a dirty scab and fight. And the way you can support is many ways. You don't have to cancel your subscriptions to your shit, but it would be good of you to make sure. It would be great for you to picket, disrupt things. It would be great of you to donate to the funds. You can go to each respective website and find out how you can do that. And if you're TS's dispensary, you can give deals to the writers. My husband is a writer. Now, he doesn't smoke weed, but I do. And I'm a family affected by this strike. It fucking sucks. And the studios are the guilty pigs, and they need to pay writers living wages. And until they do, it is very, very nice. Like here, Bob's Big Boy is like Drew Carey bought everybody like breakfast or some shit. So if you go in and you're like, I'm a writer, and you show your card, you get some free brekkie. Not me. Well, actually, maybe they'll do SAG. I'm a SAG member, so maybe I'll get a deal. But tell us about your way that you're supporting the line.
When you come into the Greenhouse Herbal Center at 5224 Hollywood Boulevard.
Ooh,
yeah,
they have the fire though. I'm not.
We do.
They really do. They're really not. They're a good place to go. That's where I get all my weed.
So show us your SAG card.
Oh, it is SAG too.
We're supporting everybody. Here's
nice.
we're supporting the Writers Guild, SAG, and the IATSE unions
all
in
unions.
This time.
Cool.
Those are the major entertainment unions, correct?
Yeah.
Three big unions that are two are on strike, and the IATSE are definitely affected because the work is shut down. So we're supporting IATSE too.
Right. Everybody's affected, especially if you live here, man. I mean, everybody's affected. Like, you will feel this because there's no content being created, and you felt it already. But out here, like living here, we have so many Teamster friends, which is a whole separate issue, but Teamsters in respects to the entertainment industry who haven't been crossing the line. Thank you for that. But we have like lots of, I mean, my husband, I don't know if I mentioned, we know so many people just that we interact with in our day to day that are we are affected. I am very much affected by this. So
yeah, so come in.
Help is great.
Come in, show your union card, and we've got 10% off your order.
10% off
for the duration of the strike.
Man, the WJ has been on strike for over 60 days already.
So, you're going to need...
Every day? Like if
every day, every day, come in,
wow.
we'll add a note to your profile, and this discount will be
that's great.
Added or subtracted automatically.
That's good stuff because weed is expensive. And now that the writers and the actors are home, we're going to be smoking a lot together. Maybe my husband will take up weed. Who knows?
So we got you at the Greenhouse Herbal Center.
Yeah, go to the Greenhouse Herbal Center. You don't have to ask for TS, but you can. You can say, hey, I heard this from the Cool Nerd Weed Show. Where's that TS of TS and Sasha from the Cool Nerd Weed Show? And maybe the Silver Fox bud tender will be there. But if he's not, just say you were sent there by TS. And you will, and Sasha too. I mean, you can drop my name if you want.
Of course.
I don't work there, so I don't really matter. But
they all know who you are.
They are lovely people at the Green. I love going there when I leave the house, which is not often. But when I do, I don't like it on the outside. But when I do, one of the places I go is the Greenhouse Herbal Center. And yeah, and then sometimes I pick you up like a mom, or like a cool No, I was gonna say it would be like a cool boyfriend would be when I had my old car, but now I'm in a Subaru, so I come pick you up.
It's I've packed your lunch.
Yeah, you packed my lunch, and
it's mostly desserts.
Yeah, sweets. Yeah, the Greenhouse Herbal Center's got a lot of really good stuff, and they always come through. And this is very cool that they're doing this. It is really nice and supportive. It really is. Like, it's when you're like in it, it's like a weird feeling because you don't know. Like, you're fighting up against like fucking Disney, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like it's like small time
and Netflix and the huge,
the biggest things in the world, and they're czars, you know. They have so much money and they own so many things, so it's a really like you feel very small. So when the line gets bigger and stronger, and then you have support from where you get your food and where you can get your weed, it's definitely a good thing. So go support Greenhouse Herbal Center, and wherever you are in the world, you can support in many ways. And picketing, you feel like you're part of something when you're picketing. You can come picketing. No, you're doing enough.
I've asked a few of the writers if I need to do anything, and you actually addressed one that I thought was like cancel my subscriptions, and it's not. They advised me not to.
They're saying not to. There's a lot of people who have content on and who have worked really hard to get their stuff on, and you're canceling your subscription is going to make or break these giant conglomerate, especially a company. I mean, Apple makes content, right? But like, they're not relying on fucking shrinking to get by. They, well, that's a great show. They are Apple. So like, it's not just like Netflix or just like a, Warner Brothers or even though that is a big one, like there's a lot, there's a lot, and canceling is, there's no use in punishing past content that people have worked really hard on. So
I'm also
they're advising to stay.
So I'll keep all my subscriptions, but I am down for some less than civil disobedience.
Yeah, go picket, go disrupt. I mean, the picketers are really like, they're really like Universal just cut down their trees to make it less comfortable to walk and picket, which is actually like illegal, but the city only fined them like $250 or some shit like that. So it's like, okay, like, yeah, that really affected Universal fucking Studios. So like, but that's really whack because it's hot as balls out here, and the whole point is disruption. So Adam Conover is great if you just want to follow like any strike tea or any ways to contribute. Again, like there's those you can donate to the funds, the strike funds. That's why they're there. If you are in the union, that's literally why they're there. So and if you're an AFTRA, if you're like me and you're just I love to believe I'd be in a SAG production one day, but I got in the union because of AFTRA. So if you're AFTRA, fucking go support. You're in the union, and the union has, done some good things for broadcasters. So go just, go hold the line. It's important. Fucking, it's so important. The shit that they're fighting for is basic, and also like it's just like what every strike before it has fought for. The strike before this was the same. It was after like 4 months of a writer's strike, and then Ronald Reagan was like, and the actors are gonna strike too, and the government got involved and was like, no, wait, don't, and that's how crazy it was then. Now, because that's how bad it's gotten, like the studios are bigger than the government right now, and I'm not exaggerating. Like
no,
our top people are very, very rich, and they're very, very selfish and very greedy, and it's super gross. It's gross. It makes me like nauseous. Like my husband hasn't worked in quite some time, and he's extremely talented. He did Picard. If you watched Picard, he was one of the writers on that, and you did watch Picard because a lot of people did, and it was good. And it's been difficult for the writers to get work because of ridiculous conditions. So, and also AI, and then we don't even have to talk about that because we'll be taking up the whole show. Everybody's scared of AI, and also everybody needs to figure out how to work with AI. And the studios are just like, nope, we're just gonna fuck y'all over on the cheaps. So there's ways for you to do research on how to combat that. So yeah, that's the thing. And go support Greenhouse Cerebral Center because they're true allies. It's true. I saw a creator say something on TikTok where it was like, you know, if old people get mad at anything, it's animal cruelty and being a scab. And they were like, unfortunately, racism wasn't on that one. But it's true. If you're a scab, all people get really, really, really mad at you. Don't be a scab.
Yeah. Fuck. and shit. Watch Hoffa. Watch Hoffa.
Yeah. Oh boy. But like sober, I think. I don't think you should watch it when you're stoned. And I don't say that much about anything.
Here's a concept for you. I was talking about this with some of the people at work, and regarding living a long time. If I wanted to live long enough to have my consciousness uploaded into AI and then become a virtual bud tender.
That'd be kind of cool. I mean, we're stoners, of course. I think that's kind of cool. I don't know. I think that'd be kind of sick.
Live forever as like an avatar bud tender.
Yeah, just forever growing with the industry. Your legacy will be that you recommended good bud even after your death. I'm kind of down.
I think I am. Now that I think about it, I think
it sounds weird.
It totally.
But
we're almost there.
We kind of are. I mean, that's basically what AI is. It has to come from a person to begin with. So I'd rather it come from me, I guess. I don't even know how I feel about AI. Like on one hand, I'm like, it's cool. On the other hand, I'm like, don't take my husband's job. And it sucks because everybody's like, well, we can see how like the actors like would get all riled up because they're using their likeness without paying them and blasey. But like with writers, they're like, but with writers, it seems kind of useful. Like all the people are saying that, and like I feel like that's so rude. Like no, that's a no. You need human writers to write good quality things. And those writers should be stoned, could be stoned, who knows? But if they need to be, they can go to Greenhouse Herbal Center. I always type it backwards in my maps. But yes, we can move on to other things now, unless you want to keep talking about it.
Oh no, I think we
want to talk about AI more.
No, I'm done with AI and being a VR bud tender.
Yeah, whatever.
A VR
I
BT.
don't have the energy. I'm too depressed to like fucking worry about AI right now. I just can't. I don't have it in me. whatever, fine, take me. Fucking take me into technology. I've had enough. Make me into a bunch of zeros and ones. Put me in the Matrix. I'm fucking done. Okay? That's how I feel about AI. So New York. Now,
back to New York.
No, actually, this is about a couple places.
Should we
played the drop so long ago, but it's not the United States of cannabis because it's the world.
It's the world.
So
we start in Amsterdam.
We can start in Amsterdam. Yeah. This is an older story, honestly. We just haven't spoken about it, and I just thought it wasn't really a big deal. And then today, when I was talking to my mom and my husband, I was like, "So Amsterdam banned weed in their red light district." They were like, "What?" Like they couldn't believe it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess that is kind of."
They've been trying to. I believe that Holland was trying to. The rest of ever since the European Union came to be, I believe that they were trying to. They've been trying to shut down Amsterdam. Also, there's been a push to like millions of people visit that city every year, and people live there.
Well, that's what I think people, including me, kind of forgot. Is
true.
That like it was so very, and also let's not forget how, like at the height probably it was the most illegal elsewhere. So like even though it's not, it's still pretty hard to obtain in Europe. Like it was illegal everywhere at some point. Like you couldn't. It was such a novelty to have a place where you could go. Do red light district things like sex work and the fucking brownie shit and be high and have sex, and it was all very Babylon-y, and it was quite alluring to everyone of all ages. It wasn't just like frat people, it was like middle-aged people, it was youngins when they could. I never got there. But this article is funny from The Guardian because it's like it quotes, whoever is doing this, whoever's in charge now, and it is coming from the locals. The locals are like sick of it. But
I've been there several times. I've been to Amsterdam several times, and I smoked in the coffee shops.
Yeah.
I'd leave and I probably smoked in my hotel room because you can smoke cigarettes in there.
Right.
But I don't feel like I ever was just walking around the city or riding a bicycle.
They're making
like
it
smoking.
sound like it was fucking Roman debauchery in the streets. That's how this article is making it sound. The locals are making it sound like people are peeing, fucking banging, just being a bunch of ne'er-do-wells on the streets of Amsterdam, common Netherlands. I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, it's how it sounds. It's how I would imagine it in my head.
There are big groups of people that act rowdy. Probably are overserved, whether they're in every capacity. But it never was like, I never felt like I was in Vegas. That kind
and
of
nothing
debauchery.
is even legal there
Yeah.
except for gambling. They also changed like the rules for the red light district, like the sex work part of it. It used to, I guess, be open all night, but now it's only open till 3 in the morning. So you got to do last call a little bit early.
The coffee shops were closed around 11 or midnight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, they're gonna try to make it so that only residents can smoke weed in the coffee shop. So you might not, like if you're a tourist planning on going to Amsterdam, you shouldn't, because I don't think they're going to be down.
Yeah, I don't think they want you there anymore.
Yeah.
Or any of us. It's this whole thing about like public urination, the whole place smelled like pee, but they
so does every city.
They for real, like I walk out my apartment. So however, in Amsterdam, they have these like they're like urinals set up in the street, like an old school urinal, like made of brass and concrete. And basically it's just a it's just a divider, so you're not whipping it out in public, and you pee on it, and it basically just runs into the canal.
Well, that explains it.
Yeah.
Debunked. Listen, I can't imagine. Well, I don't know. Can I? I lived in New York. I didn't live in Times Square, I guess, but it's different. It must be. There must be moments of where it's a lot, you know. But it's like that in so many, it's like that everywhere. You go in New Jersey, you go down the fucking shore, like locals don't want tourists there. So I guess on a bigger scale, I can't say I mean, obviously I think there being a bunch of squares, but I can't say that like, I don't understand. And well,
here's another thing. Like Amsterdam is a port city. So where there's just
right.
millennial
well, they're thinking of like
of
closing
debauchery.
the ports or something like that.
Oh, they're closing the port to cruise ships.
Oh, to cruise ships.
So
well,
that
makes sense.
The cruise, they just
wow,
can't
they
have
don't want
massive,
anybody coming in.
Yeah.
Yikes.
But, okay,
that's a little, I don't know.
So, you know, you go to other cities, but there are other cities in Holland, and they have coffee shops, and it's much more low key.
Right. Okay.
Outside of Amsterdam.
Yeah.
You know, you can go, and it was super civilized. I asked the hotel. They're like, "You want the coffee shop?" I'm like, "Yes." Thank you. You know, before I even opened my mouth.
So there are other places you can go. It's just this in and around the red light district, the rules are changing. But what we would suggest is just make sure you ask, like you just said, like maybe if you're staying in an Airbnb, ask the host, or, you know, like Jess just said, just like wink and a nudge at like your bellhop or something, and they will. But it is kind of crazy. Well, I said the business owners most of them don't seem down. They're just like, this sucks. But I don't want to I guess because I get in so much trouble all the time, I don't want to knock the locals for being like, we don't want this sort of crowd, I guess. But it sounds so icky. Like if
it's just gotten to that point to where they're so sick of it. Yeah. And it's really out of hand. And you know how people aren't behaving any better in the world. Like everywhere you go, people are just acting a fool.
Yeah.
So, compound that with when
drug use.
when you go and see how stupid people get in Vegas. And
Vegas is a good example because goddamn, people are dumb in Vegas. Did you see that megabus is running from LA to Vegas or something like that?
Oh yeah.
Imagine being on a bus, the first bus out on
a
Monday
Friday
morning,
night,
or whatever. You're the end of the weekend, or the flight back, from Vegas, where everybody was sick and cranky and shaky and
on the
angry.
Flight to Vegas, everybody's hyped up.
Yeah.
On the flight back, everybody's beat down.
Yeah. And I imagine being on a bus.
A bus, fuck.
So Vegas is a very good example because it is just it's debauchery. I don't want to insinuate that weed smokers are debaucherous, but there's a quote, I can't find it in one of the articles I was reading that, oh yeah, potheads go giggle elsewhere, the glassy-eyed zombies or whatever. Okay, chill out. And that's what always annoys me too about the way, we have to go to the Huff and Puff. We didn't even talk about New York, but because I really want to talk about this Huff and Puff live. Okay, Amsterdam. We babbled a lot. So Amsterdam, look, if you're going there, just look up where you can smoke, because the Netherlands does have places you can go. And just be respectful of the locals. People live there. People live there. Fucking stop it. Okay, so New York, we were so wowed by the amount of weed we can smoke on the streets in New York, and it is out here. When you're in New York, you're smelling it. I love it. It gives me so much calm and peace to know that I'm not the only person lighting up, and that it has caused no issues. Well, I don't fucking know. I don't live there, but from what I understand, I don't think it's been any issue other than people not enjoying it around you, which I play my music loud. Like, leave me the fuck alone. Like, but that's how I feel. I understand that is maybe not how you feel. And children. We don't want children to smell the weed. That is why we don't smoke around children. When you are walking on the streets and there is a child around, I will put that shit out on my hand. Like, I have absolute, we are very respectful. Don't be a dick.
We have stopped smoking when we see children coming, for sure.
We have
100%.
Please do that.
And at one point, one of their parents was like, sort of like winked and said, "It smells good."
Yeah. Oh, we've gotten that from a lot of the parents. I wish I could. Like, we've gotten that, and we do. Like, I don't want to make it seem, because we don't have kids, we don't understand that it's not great for them to smell weed, especially weed. They shouldn't be. So yes, but I guess a bunch of Republicans are really trying to
shut it down in New York.
Yeah.
Because right now, anywhere you can smoke a cigarette,
I love it.
You can consume cannabis, which is,
like, there's a world of difference between tobacco consumption and marijuana use. Like, oh, is there? Oh, yes. Marijuana use doesn't kill you. Tobacco use likely does. Even though people who smoke cigarettes live to be like 200. I don't know what's real anymore. I don't know what's right and what's wrong. I don't know what I stand for. The world is upside down.
Well, I'm convinced that secondhand smoke is probably responsible for a lot of my childhood ailments.
You're not wrong. I mean,
respiratory,
that
ears,
shit lives
eyes,
in your cushions. You and I always talk about this. Like, that shit lives in your cushions, lives in your walls, it lives in your clothes. It's not good for you. I'm not saying that secondhand weed smoke is any better for you. There's so many combustibles that you're around that is your toaster is bad for you. So, but again, if you smell weed coming through your vents and you don't have a hyper allergy to smoke, you're gonna live. I promise you. But if you're a fucking square and can't take it, I'm just kidding. If you don't like weed coming through your vents, it's okay. I'm just being extra annoying. And I don't know how to solve this problem. I don't know how to solve this problem. Because I like smoking weed in public. I like smoking weed in my house. And I just don't know what to do anymore. TS, I don't know what to do.
I know, none of us do. It's very confusing. Where can we go? Where can we actually go to consume our cannabis safely and without being bothered and without bothering other people?
The more legal it gets, like, I tell the story all the time. I smoked weed in my old Brooklyn apartment where I had a fucking cop who lived above me, and I smoked blunts free as a motherfucking crowbird. And I would never do that today. And it's so legal. So, I'm putting my water down because I feel like I'm going to flail and gesticulate during our Huff and Puff. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back. We might be extended, so make sure you listen to the podcast.
The final Huff and Puff with TS and Sasha.
You'll get it. This show went so fast. Is it just me? Or did this show go really fast?
We need a 2-hour time slot.
Yeah. Petition to get the Cool Nerd Weed show to be 2 fucking hours. We could do it though. That's the thing, is that we pre-recorded our show recently for one of the weeks. You guess which one? And we recorded like an hour and a half of content and like didn't even realize it. We're only supposed to go an hour. So we might end this a little abruptly, and you can just listen on idobi.com tomorrow at some point. The show will be up. So this does come from Fox News, which I don't like to give whenever this comes up. I don't like to give these sorts of things a lot of like, because they're kind of dumb. But this guy really was something else. So this, I don't even know what the fuck show it was, but it's this dude, Dr. Kevin Sabet. Dr. Kevin is what I'm going to call him, because that's his name. And he is a doctor of something. I don't know what, but he is an advisor, or was an advisor to like Mad Presidents.
Yeah. Obama,
bipartisan, which is apparently a
Bush.
Yeah, Bush.
Clinton.
Yeah. You know, all those presidents who had great drug policies. So, okay, so this is him on the show. He fucking hates weed. He hates weed so much. And his, like, I mean, if you go to his Twitter, like, your boy is obsessed. He's obsessed. He links to a lot of misinformation about weed. He quotes a lot of misinformation about weed.
As you're gonna hear.
And yeah, I should play it. I just wanted to give a little bit of a history to him, and what the headline was, is that it links to a massive increase in mental illness in the U.S. So that's the bottom line of what he's saying.
We salute you, the United States of cannabis, under all...
That's not it. Is it? He's not.
There's a little...
Yes, I'm going to let you pick the category. Medical, traffic, addiction. What has been the net result of this legalization movement across the country?
Well, thanks for having me. The net result hasn't been good at all. Marijuana is the most misunderstood drug in our country today. It is so much stronger than it used to be. We can't compare it to the era where Bill Clinton may or may not have inhaled at Oxford in the 1970s. This is a totally different drug. It's been genetically bred to be much stronger than it ever has been. And
he says genetically bred like it's The Walking Dead, or like it's like, what do you call it?
Like a GMO.
Evil Dead. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like genetically bred. He's like, it's a monster.
Driven by a money-hungry, addiction-for-profit industry.
Okay, now he's going to go on to say that weed is like big weed, basically. And you're not going to hear us disagree that that's the direction that weed is going. That is not a symptom of what weed is, though. So I just want to say that.
Resembles really the worst of tobacco and alcohol. If you think about it, it gets you intoxicated like alcohol, unlike tobacco, and then you inhale all these harmful compounds like tobacco, unlike alcohol. So we're seeing a lot of problems. There's first of all,
so you just heard him say that weed is worse than tobacco and alcohol.
Yeah.
That's what he said. Now, I would like to think that even the most uneducated about weed among us would disagree with that. And it's okay if you're uneducated about weed. That's why we're here. If you're listening to this as a new weed smoker, even you know that is insane. That's an insane thing to say.
Psychosis and schizophrenia, which is the worst thing you can imagine. It increases about 6 times the risk on suicide. We have a suicide epidemic in this country. And you look at 99% of the people who are using drugs like cocaine, heroin, fentanyl, they started with the 2 most available drugs, alcohol and marijuana. We can't turn back the station for alcohol. We're living with that issue. Why would we make the same mistake again with marijuana and legalize it and make it legitimate? You can't walk down the streets of so many of our major cities without smelling it everywhere.
I wonder if this guy drinks.
He seems pretty straight edge. Like he was sort of tossed around the idea of like we can't like criminalize alcohol.
Right.
Or like ban
There's no
alcohol.
way he doesn't drink.
All right. So other than shareholders, is anything better? I mean, we were told that I mean, first of all, there's literally no one who is serving a prison sentence for simple possession of marijuana. But that's what we were told. We were told that a lot of people are going to be not incarcerated. So is anything better as a result of having legalized this drug?
I don't even have to break that down because we don't have the time, and it's also the stupidest thing that I've ever heard. That's true. Like, it's really difficult to get somebody out of jail just on weed because of how our system is so fucked up and how it works. But people are definitely in prison because of weed and pumped up charges and whatnot. So that's just, it's wrong. It's like a wrong thing to say. I know what he's saying. Like there's nobody like federally incarcerated or whatever that
for simple possession.
Right. For simple possession. That's silly. It's a silly thing to say. And no.
No, it's not. First of all, let me tell you, it's good if you got in early. I mean, if you're getting in now, you're kind of a chump. But if you got in early, maybe you're making some money. And really, it's a small number of people making money. And by the way, they're not Black and brown communities benefiting from this. If anything, they're being targeted by this industry by putting pot shops in the poorest communities of our country, just like we've seen with, payday loan stores.
Pot shops in the
poor communities.
Have they been to?
Have you been outside?
Literally, have you walked outside? And like, LA's weed shops, like they're
in the nicest communities.
They're in some of the nicest communities in this city. California all over. What are you talking about?
Even some of the bougiest communities have finally come around and allowed shops to open up in them.
There's one in a suburb of fucking New Jersey. Like, what are you talking about?
Lottery and alcohol. It's the same thing with marijuana. We're not seeing social justice. We're not seeing a reduction in any kind of incarceration as a result. So, no, I mean, it's been a huge boon to the shareholders. And, it's just a lot of people pretending to care about civil rights and social justice when they really just want to smoke weed. They want.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah,
I don't know what the fuck, pretending to care. This is how out of touch this fucking Dr. Kevin motherfucker is he has no idea about the community. He has no idea about what weed has done for the community. He has no idea what the weed scene is. All he knows is legal and illegal and where weed fits into with that.
Yeah, when you go on to say things like it hasn't, there's a reason why it hasn't helped out these communities, because we're so trying to actually get social equity permits in place and getting people out of prison for not just small amounts of cannabis, but large amounts of cannabis has been difficult in a lot of states. I think
like saying people would just want to smoke weed, like I just can't imagine he knows what social equity really even means. Also, what it means to like be a part of the movement that's weed. You know what I mean? It's so much bigger than just, and it is because you just want to smoke weed.
I mean,
you should be able to smoke weed. It was made illegal for no reason. So
sure, we want to smoke and consume cannabis, but we didn't push to make it legal under the guise of social justice.
No, the reason why social justice is involved is because it is illegal for the, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, the reason why social justice has entered the conversation is because of how unjust it being illegal is.
Yeah, righting the wrongs that the drug war has